Hey guys!
Hello, we're in a car. Then you probably hear the rain as well.
That's the rain. The reason why we're in a car is because we went to see...
Because we're about to drive, duh.
Obviously. Well, it's actually, I think the dinner's in my car. So.
He does.
No, we saw The Thing today.
The Thing.
And we're in the parking lot of the theater right now, and it's pouring rain.
It is out of nowhere.
You can probably see it over your shoulder.
If you can even hear us talking at
yeah,
this
it's
point.
really loud. What'd you think, Brandon, of The Thing?
I liked it okay.
Yeah.
I liked it okay.
I did too.
There were definitely... I think the parts that I liked more were less the creature feature parts and more of the psychological, like, whodunit,
that's what
who
makes
is
the
it?
Thing incredible. That's why it's one of my favorite horror movies of all time. 1980s.
Yeah, and that's I definitely preferred those parts of it, but I felt like they were few and far between.
Yeah.
Like every time they would be in one of those, they would reveal who it was right away. I felt like they could have given a little more suspense.
Not tons of surprises with who the creature was.
Yeah.
There were a couple that were good curveballs. Should we do a spoiler warning, or should we try to tiptoe around this?
I think we can tell them that. I don't think we can. I mean, there's nothing that I think I need to say that will give anything away, but...
Okay. I feel, because I have things to say about how it ends. And how it connects to the other movie. But, I mean, I can leave it vague, I suppose. I would call this... It's definitely a prequel. The thing is that this is definitely a prequel to The Thing, and there's some elements in there that, if you've seen the John Carpenter's The Thing, fit in very well. I thought they did a very good job as a sequel. It's actually probably one of the best prequels I've seen, as far as connecting to the original, but also maintaining what made the original good.
Okay.
But I also think it's too much of a remake in doing the same thing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of scenes cribbed directly from Carpenter's The Thing. They changed them up enough, I think, to get away with it.
Yeah.
Especially...
Well, it's been a really long time since I've seen...
Yeah, I see it once a year.
I love it. So that's why I don't remember it enough to notice anything like that. Like, essentially, like, it was like a new look at it to me because I haven't seen it in so long.
The famous blood test scene from the original, not the original, I say the original,
right?
50s.
When we say the original, we're referring to
I mean John
'80s.
Carpenter's. I think this is definitely a prequel to John Carpenter's. Not obviously the other one. The Thing from Another World. They did that scene in this movie, that testing scene, and that's a big climactic moment in John Carpenter's, and it's not as tense, even though that was a very good scene. That's where a lot of psychological stuff comes in. Who's the Thing, who's not the Thing. It's not quite, doesn't have quite the same impact as the blood test scene does in the original. But there are lots of scenes like that. In particular, and I'm not going to give anything away, there's lots of like little moments that are taken directly and kind of repurposed. There's a moment in Carpenter's where the floorboards start popping up, almost like a wave.
So like the ending.
Near the end that happens again, and kind of at the same time in the movie. But different in this case. And there's lots of other little things like that. So it strikes me more as a remake than a prequel, even though it is most definitely a prequel, because there's things that you can't ignore.
Again, I think it works as both. I mean, even as a remake, I think it's decent.
Yeah.
It's up there with Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake, which was pretty decent.
Yeah.
Not as good, but it in its own way works, I guess.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to like... By good remake, I don't mean like overpowers or is better than the original by any means. I just mean that it stands on its own for what it is.
It stands fine. I think people See, I don't, because it's hard for me to judge it based on a film unto itself.
Okay.
Without comparing it to Carpenter's, because that's the source material.
Right.
And they're using it. So I don't know if it's like teenagers who are coming, gonna go see the movie this weekend, what their takeaway is gonna be.
Okay.
What they'll think about, what they'll think of it, because there's lots of moments, especially the end. There's things that, like I said, they're connected that really seem out of place.
Yeah. Well, and that's what, because I even mentioned that. Yeah, it was, I kind of liked where it had ended, and then there's some stuff after the credits.
They took a couple steps.
Well, not I mean during the credits, I guess.
You can't miss it.
And so, yeah, it kind of it established itself in within the quote unquote canon, I guess.
Yeah.
But I could have done without that part.
Yeah.
But
to me, because they did so much throughout the movie to set up the 80s version,
yeah,
they could not do that at the end, because it would have been a gaping hole. I think the way they do it probably wasn't the best. I think they probably could have tied it. It's so hard to tiptoe around this. The movie ends at a specific point.
Yeah, and
they kind of make they kind of put an appendix on it.
Yeah.
They probably could have written it in a little better into the actual story.
When that stuff with the credits started to happen, I was actually half expecting like a cameo, like a Kurt Russell cameo of some sort. Just to like a little wink and a nod or something.
I don't
like
think
that.
so. Yeah, I never saw it. I didn't think that was going to come.
But that's because that's like the one thing that I do remember is Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell. It's a very Kurt Russell-y movie.
Yeah.
The acting's good. The acting's very solid. I like the lead. I like the lead girl. So it's good on that front. Mm-hmm. They lied to me though. Because there's lots of CGI in this movie.
Yeah, there definitely is.
Tons.
But there definitely were some.
There's definitely practical effects.
Practical and makake effects as well.
Yeah,
but
especially near the beginning, more in the beginning.
Yeah, but there definitely was a lot of CGI.
Yeah, I was expecting much less. Because that's only because that's what the producers said.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was just a mislead on their part. But the CGI, I mean, I'm definitely in the latex in corn syrup camp when it comes to blood and gore, and that's probably the who's the monster aspect of the original, and just the amazing special effects in the original movie are kind of why I love that movie so much. And this I won't say ruins it, but it's more modern, it's what moviegoers today expect to see in their movies.
Right.
I just wish they would have kind of diverged a little bit and kind of, maybe there are people who can do that kind of stuff anymore. Maybe that's kind of becoming a lost craft. I think there are, but I think it's becoming a lost craft.
Yeah. Or they're just getting hired by like the low budget indie people.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Well, the fun of those movies, though, is that people, they're not experts. Like, even in The Thing, they had people who've worked in other movies. Yeah. In fact, I want to say the guy, I can't remember if I want to say the special effects person on the original The Howling and American Werewolf in London actually did the effects in this movie. In the original The Thing. But they kind of made it up as they went along. They're like, what can we do? And so there was a lot of trial and error involved. So, and this movie's very kind of professional. It's, because people have done lots of CGI work, and it shows.
Yep.
Favorite scene?
Again, I would say, as a cop-out, but just the stuff where it's very tense between the group. Mm-hmm. Those scenes where they're not sure who it is, but they know it's someone in there, and
that's what makes the
even like the people that aren't necessarily it's like they kind of come across as not necessarily being aware of it, and so you can tell that they're getting a little freaked out because it's like, am I just getting singled out because of this, because of the possibility, and so there's all that. So I enjoyed those scenes the best.
The witch hunt stuff usually works the best in the Thing movies. I'm gonna say it's, for me, when after the test scene, and when the two Americans came back in, and when shit starts hitting the fan for the first time, some of the I thought some of those effects were actually pretty interesting. They got a little creative with. Because there's lots of, like I said, I just cannot separate this movie from Carpenter's, but they go in some different directions that are kind of interesting as far as what happens to people, like how people can transform into the alien, and what parts of their bodies can come off and kind of go wrong. Yeah. But I think that's probably my favorite scene. But it was all fairly even for me. Yeah. It was all kind of solid. The whole movie's just solid. It's a solid movie. So I can't really pick out one. I like that they used John Carpenter's music quite a bit. Yeah. One of the best parts of the original. But I'm gonna start comparing it to the original scene John Carpenter, because this is about the thing. I think we're gonna sign off. What's tomorrow's? Tomorrow is movie? Near Dark, I believe. Near Dark. Near Dark. 80s vampire movie. Sounds a little like The Lost Boys. In fact, we have it in the car right now. Yes, we do. From Netflix. But yeah. Let's see. Catherine Bigelow. Okay. One of her first movies. Yeah, okay. Hurt Locker, James Cameron's ex-wife. Yep. So we'll see. We'll give it a shot on Saturday. All right. See you later, guys. Peace.